Usually, what I do is I excoriate Jews. For once, let me excoriate anti-Semites. I'm here in the Sinai Desert, and the little canteen here is closed at St. Catherine's Monastery, and therefore I've had no fluids for 4 hours. My mouth is parched. And I'm like, where's the fluids? Now I know I won't die. There are people around, if need be. I can find some tap water, which might get me sick or whatever, but it's doable. I can get fluids. I know that sooner or later, there's going to be some other pilgrims coming up here. The canteen will open. I can get Coca-Cola. And I think about the Jewish people, or the sons of Israel as they were called then. The word Jew comes from Judah, which is a historical term. But when I think about my spiritual, physical ancestors way back when, crying out for water and incurring God's wrath, it's very, very hard to understand how they could deserve such wrath. My goodness, the amount that they suffered in the desert, and before that in Egypt, etc., 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 and then subsequently. Hold on, there's a few people coming here. All right, you know what? Let me pause for a moment, all right? It's incredible the amount of suffering that they went through. My ancestors, my people, over the years, over the thousands of years, and yet to continually be set by troubles. The best explanation that I can give for that in defense of God is that the Lord tried to make some kind of perfect world, but that it required human beings being pretty close to perfect themselves. Didn't go with Adam, somewhat metaphorical. We won't discuss to what degree yes, to what degree no. Somewhat with Adam, somewhat with Noah, also somewhat metaphorical. We won't discuss to what degree yes, to what degree no. Then with Abraham, but Abraham's children, he didn't succeed entirely. And then Isaac's children, he didn't succeed entirely. And then with Jacob, despite the fact that his children ended up having such terrible, terrible difficulties among them, God said, that's it. It'll be among Jacob's children. All of you are counted as Israel. But thereafter, they still had to go through Kur HaBarzel, the Kur HaBarzel, the iron furnace, more or less, the smelting pot of Egypt, the slavery in Egypt, and then subsequent, and God's being so terribly, terribly difficult to them was because in order to get this message out, and you can see, look behind me, this monastery has been here for nearly 2,000 years. All of Christianity, all of Islam is a continuation of this revelation that God took the people out of Egypt and revealed himself to them in this area at Mount Sinai, somewhere around here. All of the people who believe any of that, the amount of influence that small, tiny little desert religion ended up having on the world is unlike any other cultural influence that's ever existed in human history, in recorded human history. But nonetheless, it seems that it's such a difficult task for humans that there's going to be an immense amount of suffering just so that the purest can get through. And even then, it's not the purest. Moses himself couldn't enter the promised land. And beyond that, at one point, God said to Moses that he wanted to erase all the rest of the Jewish people and just have the new people come from Moses himself. And Moses said, I won't be party to that. Macheni mesifrecha. And yet Moses himself, like I said, wasn't considered 100% cut to lead the Jews into Israel. So the excoriation of anti-Semites is this. What the fuck do you people want from us? We are humans. We are beset with this burden, which, as the Bible itself calls it, is a blessing and a curse. We do the best we can. Yes, sure, you have all kinds of negative things done by individual Jews or by groups of Jews, just as you have with all other peoples. Now, granted, all kinds of, even if you grant every single anti-Semitic excuse, still, it doesn't add up. This is such a burdensome history, carried on so many books after books, every one recorded, thousands and millions of pages eventually. You gotta help us. You gotta help us here. There are good people who do help the Jews. But often they're helping the wrong ones. Often they're beset by some kind of Gentile guilt from their anti-Semitic cultural or physical forebearers, and therefore they help the most powerful Jews. Those are the wrong ones to help. Nonetheless, it's better than the anti-Semitic, I suppose. But honestly, help us. We're here, Yisrael. We're fighting God. We're trying to wrestle Earth into a divine state against the perfection demanded of us. And if we succeed, death will end. That's the biblical promise. If we succeed, death will end. Help us out. I love you all, and may you be blessed.